Hello and welcome to Pathways, Careers in Natural Sciences and Health Professions. I'm so glad that you're here. We'll get started in just a few minutes while we wait for more participants to join. Please feel free to type into the chat or unmute yourself and share what brought you here today. Maybe it could be what major you're most interested in or a career that you're most interested in. Or maybe share what intrigues you about the natural sciences and health. If you're shy, that's okay. You are more than welcome to participate in this session in whatever manner you are most comfortable. You can type into the chat, you can unmute and speak, or you can, just listen in on the information that we have to share. More than happy to participate in whatever manner works best for you. I'm going to type my email into the chat so that you can feel free to reach out whenever you have questions or concerns. And if you prefer not to come off mute here in this session, we can always arrange a time to talk later. This session is being recorded for those who are unable to join us. So it will be posted online on the Pathways website, and that's where you can visit it later as well. So thank you so much for joining. My name is Kristen Lebrecht. I am the Natural Science and Pre-Health Professional Pathways Advisor here at University of Washington, Bothell. My office is in Career Services, and in Career Services, you can access us through 3 years after graduation. So you're more than welcome to interact with our services now and know that we're with you for the long term. So any questions or concerns you have about career exploration, job readiness, internships, graduate school, we are here to help. Well, without further delay, we'll get started with our session. Let me share my screen. Excuse me. And here we are for careers in natural science and health professions. Is everyone seeing this along with me? Feel free to give a thumbs up emoji or awesome. Thank you so much. Perfect. So again, welcome to Careers in Natural Science and Health Professions. And what I want to do is talk with you today about your focus on health and natural sciences. It can take you many places within employment and graduate study. So let's look through these options here. This list is not exhaustive, even though it's long. There's a lot of stuff that's listed. But what ideas do you have for additions? What's something that's not on this list that's something you've thought of in terms of natural sciences and health? Feel free to type into the chat or unmute and speak up, whatever works best for you. And maybe not ideas for additions, but do you have questions about anything you see here? Maybe you see osteopathic medicine and you have a curiosity about what does that mean? Osteopathic medicine is a branch of medicine, just like allopathic medicine. And allopathic medicine is the field that we're probably most used to talking about when you think of an MD. There's also naturopathic medicine. So there's all different kinds of ways of pursuing becoming a primary health provider for patients. So lots of things to think about, lots of spaces for you to explore careers, and not just when it comes to direct patient care. Maybe you want to work in health education and promotion and affect the health of communities. There's lots of spaces for you to explore within health and the natural sciences. There are lots of online resources that can help you explore different careers based on your major. Let's look at a few of these together. Let me go here and look at what can I do with this major. And this is a nice space where you can really view all majors and look at health and wellness. I do want to say that you can only access this site through our UW-Bothell Career Services. If you try and access it on your own, it'll tell you, nope, it doesn't work. You need to have kind of our account. So let me put that in the chat too. Hang on. So this link that I'm going to put into the chat is a space where you can explore different majors and careers, and it's part of our UW-Bothell Career Services site. And this is where you can access this resource. Let's go back here. Okay, now are you seeing this with me? The what can I do with this major? Maybe. Good, awesome. So let's try this. View all majors, health and wellness. This is a really good space to look at. If I major in health, what can I do? And you can see, oh, you can see I did not access this correctly. My bad. I'm going to come back here. See, I'm demonstrating what not to do. It's always a good thing. So again, career services, major and career exploration. We'll go to this. What can I do with this major? Linked through career services, this will work. But when it's not linked, it won't. So make sure you go through the career services site. When you look at health and wellness, you'll see that there's lots of different kinds of careers you can pursue just by clicking on the major that's specifically here. So maybe you want to work in public health because you think, well, I like affecting health, but I'm not sure if I want to work one-to-one. What kind of careers are available in public health? And we see there's health policy. Maybe you really like thinking about the law and you want to merge health and law, and health policy is a way to think about that. Let's see, maybe you want to work for the government. Maybe you have an affinity with military and you want to work within the military government, but within health. There's different ways to think about the careers that you can explore here. There's actually a military university that has a school of medicine. So you can actually be prepared to become a medical doctor in the military. Lots of different spaces for you to explore here. If we go back and look at view all majors, and we look at science, we want to see those natural sciences field. And you say, well, what if I'm a chemistry major or a biology major? What can I do? Maybe biochemistry, a combination of the two. You can find here that there's different areas, whether it's research or healthcare or other professional opportunities you can seek. There's lots of different things. Teaching, maybe you want to be a high school biology teacher. Lots of different spaces for you to explore careers here. So this is a great site. Another site I want to share with you is explorehealthcareers.org. This is one of my favorite resources. Type it into the chat. It's one of my favorite because it really follows our structure of explore and prepare and apply. You want to first explore, is career in health the right fit for you? And if you think you want to work in health, 9 times out of 10 people say, I want to work in health because I want to help people. Well, how are you going to help people? There's a number of ways you can do that. So focusing here on, is a career in health right for you, will help you learn more about yourself and your alignment within healthcare. Focusing your career search will help you think about what are the different spaces I can pursue. Maybe you don't want to be in school for 10 years, or maybe you want to make sure that you're earning a livable wage of at least, you know, $70,000 or $80,000 a year, because that's where we are. We live in this county. Years in school. So I want to do 4 years in school and I want to earn at least $70,000. And I can submit and I can say, okay, here are some options that I could pursue. Great. So these are things you can do to kind of check this out. Another resource I want to share with you is LinkedIn. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile? Thumbs up. Awesome. Very good. What we want to do in LinkedIn is you can search here for folks who are from the University of Washington, Bothell. So you can click on UW Bothell, and I'll send this in the chat as well. And what you can see here is all of the alumni. And if we look at alumni, maybe we say, well, we want to see where they work. They work at Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, UW, T-Mobile, Swedish. Hey, wait a minute, that's a healthcare site. I want to see who's working at Swedish. And you can see who these people are. And maybe you say, well, what are they doing? And I say, oh, let's look at Nia here. Nia graduated from the University of Washington, Bothell, and she's a patient care coordinator at Swedish Pediatrics. How did she get that position? You can look at Nia's profile here to say, oh, wow, okay, she was a community assistant. She was an RA. How can I do that? You know, how can I leverage that kind of experience into becoming a patient care coordinator? So there's all different ways to think about how you can network with folks, learn more about them. You can try to connect with Nia and say, I want to know more about your path because I want to get there too. You know, and the more people you network with, if there's an opening at Swedish, maybe you can have a way in. So it's always good to think about how you can network and find that resource. The other resource I really want to share with you is Handshake. Excuse me. And Handshake is a space where you can get to know even more about employers who are seeking UW Bothell students. How many of you use Handshake already? Good, very good. Handshake is not only the way that you can schedule appointments to see me, but it's also the way that you can seek employers, and you can learn more about what they're doing and who they're trying to hire. And you can actually search by major. You can search by major to find, maybe you can say, I'm a biology major. Are you looking for me? And they will be able to find you there. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go back to our presentation now, if you don't mind. There we go. So we looked at what can I do with this major. There's also the career decision pyramid, which is also on the website that I linked before, the major and career exploration website from Career Services, and explore health careers. So some different spaces to check out. Now that I've given you some homework to dive deeper into, let's go on and talk more about natural sciences and health. When we look at all the different options within health and natural sciences and realize that healthcare is just one field within the health and natural sciences, this model shows you that there are many roles you can pursue just in healthcare alone. Sometimes you think that to work in healthcare, you can choose to be a doctor or you can choose to be a nurse. And those are fantastic career options, but there are essentially many other essential pieces in the healthcare puzzle. What role might you see yourself playing? So if we look at this wheel here and you read kind of the different areas that you could pursue, what resonates with you most? What do you see here that you think, oh, I want to know more about that, or maybe I see myself doing that? Feel free to type into the chat or unmute. Yeah, virtual healthcare has been a really growing field, you know, as you might imagine, over the past couple of years. More and more providers are providing their services online. So whether you are seeking a counselor, a therapist, or even a physician who can kind of see what maybe you have a cut and you want to show what's happening, or a rash and you just want to show on camera, you can do that in a virtual healthcare appointment. So you don't have to necessarily travel into a doctor's office. You don't have to necessarily travel to a therapist's office. You can have your appointment virtually, which is very nice. Those of you who might have met with me already, or who've met with your academic advisor or another career coach, a lot of you are taking advantage of online appointments, which is wonderful. We love that it's making our services more accessible. The same can be said for healthcare providers. The main thing to note in this wheel, in these options when it comes to careers, is that you belong. You belong in this field. It's just a matter of determining which piece is the one you can contribute to in the most meaningful way. As you think of the role that you might play, it's important to think about the skills and traits you might need to be successful. This model shows skills that I would argue are necessary for all fields, not just healthcare, but they translate very well to natural sciences fields as well. As I mentioned earlier, many go into healthcare to help people. It's important to love helping others. You also need to realize that sometimes you can help others by helping systems. So maybe you help patients on a one-to-one basis, or maybe you're a researcher who develops vaccines and finds cures, and you can publish information about that research. Maybe you research environmental impacts of health, and that's a way that the natural sciences and health go together really clearly, right? So when you're paying close attention to data and details, as is needed as a researcher, you need to revise that information as it becomes available. We've seen that as well over the past couple of years with all the research about vaccines and how the virus is changing. We need to understand that science is evolving. And so in order to be current, we need to always be learning. How can you make sure that you're always learning and always at the forefront of new knowledge that's becoming available? As that new knowledge becomes available, how are you going to communicate effectively with your audience? Sometimes you might work one-to-one with patients, but you might also work in community health, and you need to learn how to reach a broad audience via multiple platforms. Maybe you're bilingual or trilingual, and you can reach people in communities who can't be reached by the masses. So you can think about how your skills play in to what's needed. Those working in health are needed greatly. And so part of being a healthcare worker is the ability to step up and rise, go when you're called. Sometimes there's space that you don't really want to go to, but you need to. You know, when it came time for nurses to go into hospitals and care for patients, it's a very tricky situation, but the dedication and the desire to help people get better brought them into work. These are heroes. This is Anatomy of a Health Worker, which they got a cape on, shows they're heroes. The impact these heroes have on society is immeasurable. Does this resonate with you? Are these the kinds of skills you have? Are these the kinds of things that you want to do in order to help people and to really affect your community? What are some other skills you think might be essential in this field? I didn't mention it, but listening skills. Listening skills are definitely needed. Patience. Yes. There's a reason why they're called patients, right? You need patience to work with patients. Empathy is a huge one. The ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and try and understand their pain so that you can comfort them. Try and understand their source of discomfort so you can help them see what they need to understand. Great. When you think about how your unique abilities fit in with those skills we just talked about, we want to recognize that the things you're good at are just one piece of the puzzle. You also need to be really interested in something in order to make it your passion. There's a Japanese concept called ikigai, which means your reason for being. By using this diagram, you can unpack truths about yourself and the world that will help you make decisions about where you spend your time and energy. These decisions can help you find fulfillment, particularly when it comes to exploring majors and careers. These slides, in addition to the recorded presentation, will be posted on the Pathways website, so you'll have access to this information. What I love about Ikigai is that we can start with passion. I always like to start with one spot because it's a good place to kind of explore. Feel free to unmute or type into the chat. Definitely take notes because I'm going to ask you some questions. First, I want you to name some things that you love doing. If you had a whole day to yourself, no responsibilities, you can do whatever you want, where would you spend your time and energy? What would you do? Whoops, let it go back. As you've jotted that down on a paper or on a OneNote or something else, name some things that you're good at. These don't have to be things that you love doing. They can be things that you do naturally. Maybe they're things that you're known for. If I were to ask a dear friend or relative, describe this person to me, what would they describe about you? What's something that you do pretty naturally? When I was younger, I had an aunt who was Native Hawaiian, and she let me come stay with her for a while so that I could get a name. And, in Hawaii, names are very important. It had to be a name that fit me. It couldn't just be something that I picked. It had to be something that fit who I was. And after spending some time with me, she chose to give me a name that meant the one who takes care, the one who takes care of everyone else. And I thought that was so special to me that, just spending time with me, she recognized that that was a thing I do without really thinking about it. I take care of other people. When you think of your passion needs to be a blend of both what you love and what you're good at. I'm pretty good at tidying up, but that's not the kind of taking care that my aunt was talking about. That's not the kind of thing that's going to be my passion, right? I also really love food. I love eating food, looking at pictures of food, thinking about how you would make the food. But when it comes to actually doing it, I'm not that good at it, which is okay because other people can do that and it's wonderful. When you think about your passion, needs to be both, needs to be something you love doing and you're good at it. Someone who's really good at making food and loves making food can be a chef. Someone who's really good at tidying up and loves doing it, could do it all day, could be Marie Kondo, if you know who she is. She's the art of tidying up. Me, I like taking care of people. And I think I'm okay at that, right? Someone noticed that innate skill that I have, and I actually enjoy it. I get fulfillment out of helping people. So here's where I am. My Ikigai has translated to this. We come back to the larger diagram. We want to see that my passion for helping people and connecting them with resources fits in with what the world needs. You need to choose a career that the world needs so that you can find fulfillment. You find that you're contributing to society. And you also need to get paid for it because, like we talked about earlier, you need that livable wage, right? You need to be able to pay for shelter and food. So we want to make sure that whatever your passion is, it also fits in with what you're going to be paid for and what the world needs. Thankfully, I found that at UW. Now what I want you to do is ask yourself, have you made note of the things that you're good at and the things that you love doing? And can you ask yourself how your passion fits in to what you can be paid for? Can you ask yourself how your passion fits in to what the world needs. Maybe we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, what does the world need? Have a little diagram that might help us unpack this a little bit. In this illustration of inequality, one individual is in the right place at the right time. Maybe we think of the apples as healthcare, right? One person is getting healthcare. The other person just doesn't have access. Can't reach it, can't get it, it's not falling down. They're just out of luck. This is the definition of inequality. When we look at this illustration of equality, the individuals are given the same tools, resulting in one still not being able to access the resources in the tree. Maybe we think of, when we think of evenly distributed tools and assistance, if we think of this as healthcare, maybe we say, well, everyone has access to healthcare. It's available. But do we have healthcare providers who speak the languages of their patients? Do we have healthcare providers who will charge what patients can afford? All the different ways in which some people are still disadvantaged, right? When we look at equity, this illustration shows us that the individuals are given customized tools to help them navigate their own experience and gain access to the resources in the tree. So now, both individuals are accessing healthcare. They've been given customized tools. Maybe one has a translator if they need it. Maybe one has assistance, financial assistance if they need it. So this looks better, right? We say, okay, they're getting access to apples. But still, the apples on the one side of the tree still don't seem like there's that many. There's still not that many options. We take it a step further and we look at the fact that there are some people who can work to fix the system so that everyone can have equal access, equal opportunity to the same kinds, the same quality of apples / healthcare. We say, well, maybe we want to do this, right? Systemic oppression isn't always the fault of the system. Just need some good people to get in there and fix it. So whether you work in natural sciences and health for direct patient care, or you work in healthcare administration or health policy because you want to fix the system, maybe this plays in to your ikigai. Maybe you can use your skills and interests to really kind of develop a passion that will impact justice in healthcare. As you think about that, I want to announce a couple of special events that you should definitely plan to attend. One is the Service Organization's mini job fair on Friday, February 25th. Registration opens next Monday, and this is where specifically employers from service organizations are coming to meet UW Bothell students. So if you want to pursue an internship or a part-time role, and you want to meet with some of these companies to learn more about their hiring practices and how you can get in with them, this is a great space to come and attend. In the spring, on April 19, we're having the Spring Job and Internship Fair. It's a much bigger event, and that's going to be for all industries. So mark those on your calendar and be sure to sign up via Handshake when the Handshake registrations open. I really want to thank you for attending this session today. I hope to see you sometime soon. We are in career services and you can access us through appointments and Handshake. We do have assistant career advisors available in the Student Success Center in UW1, and they have drop-ins every day at 2, Monday through Thursday at 2. Those drop-ins are in person. The appointments you have with the career coach could be virtual or in person, you can choose. Appointments with me specifically begin with UW Bothell Pre-Health. And before we close today, are there any questions you have that I can address? Well, it was wonderful being with you. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday during midterms to come learn more about careers in natural sciences and health. Please feel free to connect with me in the future. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. And I wish you a wonderful Monday afternoon.